Stop. Do you know that we can fly to space? Well, not really space, but like edge of space. Apparently, you can purchase a ticket now. We need to talk about something. We need to talk about something important because apparently Blue Origin, owned by Jeff Bezos, announced that we can purchase a ticket to go to space and come back. The name of this vehicle that will take us there is New Shepard. And why is all this connected to my channel? It's that it has to do something with fashion. It's not that I'm trying to get into tech, it's that these people are trying to get into my space. No pun intended. We cannot orbit around the Earth, oh, so pity, but we can go up and come back. So Courchevel and Maldives are not a thing anymore. Sorry. The price of this crazy endeavor and voyage is starting from 200,000 up to 500,000. I just have a question or two, perhaps. First of all, how is your rent going this month? And second of all, do we need to purchase gazillion other things before we are eligible to purchase the actual ticket? Like what Hermes is doing. First of all, we need to purchase like a little scarf, or maybe we need to purchase space shoes or space hat or space shade, and then we are eligible to purchase the actual ticket. The connection is really through fashion show by brand Mons that designed these space suits, and that famous people like Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, and so on appeared to this event, and therefore I think I can mention this because you see how fashion really expand to other spheres. It's not only about clothes and what we wear. Fashion really uh, goes much further than just clothes. So basically, what is the experience of this endeavor? Is that passengers experience a few minutes of zero gravity and see the curvature of the Earth. I mean, would I take this flight? I know one thing, I wouldn't be the first one. What I know, and I love nature a lot, what I know is that a fish will never try to climb a tree, but then by that logic, we shouldn't take flights neither, right? So I don't know. Perhaps in the future, when I'm sure that this is safe enough, I think the view must be beautiful. I love adventure. I don't know. I'm really torn between yes and no, and I'm generally curious to hear your opinion. Would you go to edge of space and come back? Is this something that you're interested, or you're totally against this? Humans are crazy. I need to expand my knowledge. I have to learn how to review spacesuits. I will not tolerate that. So there is that. On another note, John Galliano just signed 2 years contract with Zara, which is crazy because we were all thinking that he may go to Gucci or he may go to Balenciaga. We all know that these brands really needed some help, and John Galliano was one of the person that's supposed eventually to choose one of these two major houses, but no one ever thought he will go to Zara. Other brands did so many collaborations with H&M, and no one actually was harmed in the process. And to know that John Galliano is only going to design clothes for Zara, he will actually go through old archives of Zara items, like pieces that were never sold, that were never actually even placed in the shops in the first place, and he will just go through old archives and like create new things. Now, I'm not sure if John Galliano himself will really go through old archives of Zara and redesign these pieces, but for sure he will put his name on it, and he will perhaps just, take a small glance and say yes, no, and that's it. Oh, this looks like a weapon. Okay, let me move that there. It's fine. Also, there will not be female and male collection. It will be more like unisex collection, pieces that can be equally worn by men and women. So I like that. So I'm excited about this collaboration, and I'm excited to see the first collection in September. I am an outfit repeater myself, but also I would love for John Galliano to design new pieces as well. No one was ready for this. So let's have this lunch. Good food puts me in a good mood. Fancy. That salmon was a little bit dry and I like it rare, but at least I'm not hungry anymore. So recently I've been asked this question: how do I spot on a good quality item, especially with fast fashion rising up? And I thought that this question is really good and it actually deserves a dedicated video. Basically, there are three main things to pay attention to when we want to find good quality garment in fast fashion stores. First, read the label. Second, the design of the garment. It is always better to choose tailored pieces. And third, inside of the garment. But there are more things to pay attention to. Avoid polyester, acrylic, acetate, polyurethane, microfiber synthetics, nylon. The only nylon I accept to have are tights. Tights and Prada makeup pouches. It's empty. The papers are empty. Choose cotton, linen, silk, wool, cashmere. But then we have blends. Some people are against it. I'm not against it. Sometimes we need them because we kind of need to keep the shape of wool coat, for example, as long as most of the item is wool, cashmere, silk, or so on. Viscose or rayon. Then we have modal, lyocell, it's like more eco-friendly, acetate, and cupro. Some of these fabrics have two different names for the same thing, and the purpose of it is just to make us even more confused, but don't let this defeat you. And then we have style of fabric, not the fiber themselves. So for example, denim is made of cotton. Then we have corduroy, it's also made of cotton. Satin can be silk or polyester, and tweed, for example, tweed can be wool or polyester as well. So now let's move on to something more interesting: seams and stitching. Listen, I don't want to bore you, but these are the things you must know if you want to find good quality items in fast fashion. Now, when it comes to seams, there are apparently 6 different types of seams, or even more. It's all about different styles and different ways, but all you need to know is that the French seam is the best seam, of course. It is not necessarily the best seam, it is about where is the right place to use French seam, which is in delicate fabrics. Like, the seam should be very well done in a way that is not too tight, not too loose, that it doesn't pull and make the garment uneven, because when the seam is pulling, then it causes the fabric of the item to kind of create that pucker, or to make these awkward gatherings. Because for example, this top that I chose just randomly from my closet, it's made out of silk, but being made out of silk is not enough. It's also how the stitching is made, because if you see on the edges, there are small little pullings of the silk, and that creates like a pucker and unevenness along the seam line, if you know what I mean. But silk is really hard to work with, so let's be gentle. And please, no loose threads. Talking about seams and stitching, I found this skirt just today in fast fashion store, and I was like, I have that. So as you can see here on this one, we can see that line stitching that is just showing through the fabric, and this is a sign to me that this garment is poorly made. And I don't say this is a very bad item, I just say that you can spot slight difference between this one and the one I'm wearing. Sometimes when you see a dark garment and you're not quite sure about fabric, because sometimes darker garment seems to be of a better quality, but if you want to understand the real quality of the garment and fabric, you just find the same garment in a light color. These kind of colors will show more the quality of the fabric. We can see better stitching and construction of the garment on light items. So choose your seam. So another way how I spot a good garment in fast fashion is to check pattern alignment. So if you see this jacket here that I'm showing, it has this beautiful what's this, herringbone pattern, I think. So you kind of don't have that perfect alignment. The fabric is mismatched, and this is the sign of like fast production, mass production, and it's not the sign of high-end good quality garment. But in fast fashion, you can just remove this item and take next one, and next one could have that perfect alignment. Shopping takes time. So many people will stretch fabric towards the light and see if it's see-through. And I think this is a very good thing to do, but I always forget to do that because I really trust my instinct to touch the clothes and listen to it. Then we have wonky hem. Wonky hem is this that I explained on this jacket. It's like if the hem is kind of wonky and not straight and even, it's just kind of pulling in all different kind of directions. It is really the sign of a poor quality item. Another thing I pay attention to when I purchase in fast fashion are buttons. So I don't want buttons that are not stitched tight to the garment, that are wiggly and almost falling apart. I want buttons that are closely stitched to the garment, but this is the trait that I can negotiate, because if I like the garment I will purchase it and just, you know, take it to the seamstress and she will tighten it up. Beside buttons that should not be made of plastic, I love to pay attention to zippers. Zippers can really make the garment so cheap or so high-end. I will look for zippers that are kind of strong and heavy, and you can, you know, when you open them and close them, you can feel if they're kind of going smooth, and they even make that deep quality sound, or they're just kind of lining. Lining is another thing we should definitely pay attention when purchasing our items, and not only fast fashion, but often even mid-range brands will kind of use 100% wool, 100% silk, but then lining will be polyester. And this is very pity to ruin such a great piece with this kind of lining, because actually lining is the first thing that comes next to our body and touches our skin. Midi skirts. I want to touch upon midi skirts because I see many midi skirts that are having lining much shorter than skirt itself. So this creates that kind of odd transparency along the hemline, and this is the sign of cheap garments to me. So what I did, I went to the seamstress and she made this part of the skirt shorter so that they're kind of even, but still lining should be just a tiny bit shorter than the fabric on the outside. So the seamstress cost me more than a skirt. Girl logic. Silk dresses. Silk dresses are the best fit when they have that bias cut. Bias cut is the kind of cut of the fabric that goes 45 degrees, so diagonally across the straight threads of fabric. And if you're a driver, you probably know what bias cut is because tires are made using similar system. Bias cut is going to create better movement and the flow of the dress, and just it's gonna create that little waist and hips line. It's just always better to try to figure out when you purchase in fast fashion or mid-range fashion if silk dress has that bias cut. Pants. When I purchase pants, I really love for the waistband to have double line. It's kind of more high-end. It's going to keep the shape much longer and much better. It's just more quality item, and I love for pants to have that inside button. Inside button will keep the shape and fit of pants. Leather. Forget vegan leather. Vegan leather is just fancy name for plastic. I have this beautiful set from Zara that I really like, but it's really done so well because it kind of has texture through it. When I was purchasing this faux leather blazer, I had two options in front of me. So I had this one that had a little bit of texture to it, and then I had this one that was just plain shiny blazer. So you can see that this one that has tiny bit of texture looks much more high-end rather than this one that is just plain shiny plastic. Another way how I find better quality items in fast fashion is to purchase tailored pieces, because tailored pieces very often read as high quality, but there is difference as well. It's not always for sure that you will find a great quality piece if it's tailored. There are all sorts of blazers. We have fast fashion blazers that are well made, and then we have fast fashion blazers that are really wrinkly and made of polyester, and you can tell right there in the store that this is a no-go. So if you choose fast fashion that is made of linen or viscose or wool blend, very often you will find a tailored piece that is of better quality. I would definitely love to mention blazers and vintage shops. You will be surprised how many dead stock items you can find. Dead stock is something that can come from LVMH group, you know, that's my Frenchie. Like, you can find great pieces from Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Luigi Vuitton. I wore this vintage blazer just to demonstrate this is real wool. It feels great, I feel great. I don't feel less of a person because I purchase vintage. As I mentioned before, if I could, I will only wear designers and vintage. Besides vintage stores, I also check small local stores because those little small artisans and local designers often get neglected next to big corporations and big shopping malls, but they create beautiful and unique clothes that not everyone will wear. And I think that's it. I think more or less I covered everything I'm looking for in the garment when I want to purchase a good quality garment. Now I have much more to talk about this. We can stay here forever, but I really don't want to bore you. I hope I didn't bore you too much, but this is a very important topic and I think it is something that will be useful to anyone who is interested to listen. So thank you for being here. Please let me know your thoughts and I will see you in my next video. Bye! If you want to go to Edge of Space and come back, that's an experience you can buy yourself for birthday, I suppose. I think that humans are playing a little bit too much with all this science.